Welcome, survivors, seekers, and thrivers. I'm your host, Shari Lee Roberts, psychic medium, energy healer, and living proof that you can transform your pain into power. Each episode, we dive into trauma healing, developing your intuitive gifts, and reclaiming your life. Get ready for real stories, deep wisdom, and a little laughter along the way.
Hello, and welcome back to what is going to be a wild ride. So go get your favorite food or beverage, cuddle up, and just listen to what my guest Alphonso James has been through and what he has ended up doing as a result. Two things. I met Alfonso about 1.5 years ago at a big event on Long Island. That's odd enough, being he and I are both Midwesterners, which explains our love for one another. The other is his story used to be my worst fear. Being wrongly accused of something and being thrown into prison and he thrown away. Luckily, that never happened to me, but it did to him. We're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about the amazing things that came from that experience and what he is doing today. Welcome, dear man. I couldn't be more thrilled to have you. Please introduce yourself and give my little listener not the whole big story, but a good idea of what happened. Also, how long you were in prison.
Wow. Well, first of all, Sherry, I just love you so much. And I had to reach out to you, oh my God, and say, just to let you know that I was thinking about you and I was so encouraged and not only inspired, but wow. I'm just in awe of you, my friend. Uh,
Like why?
um, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm the oldest of five kids. I remember growing up, everyone used to call me a dreamer because I used to imagine being an airplane pilot, a police officer, a fireman. I used to imagine doing all those things. Okay. Oh, and Sherry, can I share some awesome news with you?
Yes.
Okay. In March, that's when I'm expected to be exonerated. So I would love to show up on your show after that event. It's going to, so whatever day you have, I will let you know in advance, but I definitely want to do it in March because March is going to be a,
Yes. So, when in March are
um,
you due?
the first week, the first
Oh,
week, they haven't given me, tied a date in yet. We're still working on getting on the judge's docket, but they said the first week of March. So, and
wow.
I know,
Okay. Tell me how this has come to be. I am we're not doing the podcast. I just want to hear, and
yeah,
then we'll talk about it
yes,
again.
yes.
Oh my gosh. So you got out in what year?
2017, February the 14th,
Oh, wow.
2017. Yeah,
Wow.
yes,
Okay. So 9 years.
yeah,
And it's been a long
yeah,
process.
yes.
Tell me.
Well,
And
it's this is my 40th year anniversary of my incarceration, and 9 year anniversary of my release. I went to prison when I was 17, and I did
yeah,
32. I served 32 years, and so I returned back to the community when I was 50. I had just turned 50 years old, but I was still like 17-year-old in my head, and but I was a 50-year-old adult now, man now, and so
yeah.
that took some adjusting for me to do.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah.
How are you? Or take me through that adjustment of getting out until today.
Hmm.
You've talked about electronics, and all of that. So phones, I mean, I cannot imagine.
It was really really scary. Because I had
Yeah.
never prior to this, I had never been in any type of trouble before, and I didn't know what to expect. And so when I was in placed in custody, I thought that they were just going to talk to me and just let me go home, and but after 12 hours of being interrogated and when I dropped out of school like in the fifth grade because it was too challenging for me. I couldn't read, I couldn't understand most of the curriculum that was going on, and I was too ashamed to really express so to anyone. So I started hanging out, on street corners, break dancing. That's when break dancing was new. So we got us a B-box, boom box, and a cardboard, and we just sat on there on the street corner, and we were performers. So I always thought that my way of being a success was because I love breakdancing. Oh my God, I used to love breakdancing. And I thought that I would help my family out by being a successful breakdancer, yet also engaging in the community events. And so when I was taken into custody after 12 hours, the police detective pretty much said okay, your mother's in the lobby waiting for you. The only thing you have to do is sign this document and you'll be released into her custody. So after 12 hours of being told and being informed how much of a loser I was and nobody will ever believe me, I got fed up. And so the 12th hour, I signed a blank sheet of paper, and an hour or so later came back with a full-page confession with my signature on there. And my signature was the only thing that I recognized, and those words were not mine. And so the detectives at that time, they didn't know I didn't know how to read or write. And so they came back and they told me, well, your mother is not here, but we're transferring you to a youth center for holding. So this happened on a Saturday, Saturday, July 27, 1985. And I remember, oh my God, I remember the sun, I remember the birds, I remember the smell of the bacon, I remember all those things. And I remember getting in the back of the police car as they was transferring me to the youth place. And I was like, what's going on? And then they told me when we get there, somebody advised me of what's going on. So we made it there probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was approached by one of the staff there. And then they read off the paperwork to me and said that I was being charged with first-degree murder. And I was like, how am I being charged first-degree murder when I'm at my mother's house and all of my friends are still alive and I'm not active in the streets like that? So you fast track that. I was waived within 6 months. I was waived into adult court. Went to jury trial, found guilty, and sentenced to 105 years in Wisconsin State Penitentiary for a crime I did not do. I went there frustrated. I went there like really, really confused and hurt because I couldn't understand how a system had failed me, and why didn't the authority do the improper investigation to really find out what happened. So I went throughout prison like, I need to figure out, but I know that God didn't bring me into this world to all of a sudden, allow me to suffer to this extent. So I took that as a challenge. And my first 5 years incarcerated in maximum penitentiary, I spent five of those years, all the first 5 years in solitary confinement. And while I was in solitary confinement, that's when I knew that I couldn't run from myself anymore. I had to face who Alphonso was. And I had to face the reality of not only being in prison falsely, but I always looked at it as being like a form of higher education. I just looked at prison as being a mission field, a place where I knew I can grow and I can become somebody. So while in solitary confinement, I learned to read, I learned to write, I learned to be a better communicator. I started reaching out to different organizations, begging and pleading. And then eventually, once I was released from solitary confinement, I went on to go to college, theology. I have a theology degree, a culinary arts degree, and associates. But that wasn't enough for me because I saw a lot of broken people. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, don't be. I love for you to talk about
Yeah.
the passenger that came to you while in solitary confinement, who was your catalyst. We must pay homage
Yes.
to that poor man that you
Mm,
were
mm.
awful too.
I'm,
And
I know, I know.
understandably,
I,
but if not for him, you and I wouldn't have
mm,
met. You wouldn't be out here. So,
mm,
talk about
absolutely.
that.
Well, I mean, this guy, when I was in solitary confinement, everything that he represented, because there was a chaplain every Friday, he would come down and he would give guys religious material. If you needed to reach out to your family, he would be that person. Or if you just needed a prayer, he would be that person. And so every week he would stop in front of my cell. And the first two times I warned him that I don't want any of his information. I don't want to know anything about his God. And so I told him, I warned him, I said, well, if you come back to my cell again, I'm going to throw something on you. So he came back to the cell the third time. And this time, true to my word, and true to my word, I threw some urine on him. And he did not like his facial expression, nothing changed. But I think the thing that I really saw more than anything that I had never saw in a human being up until that point was his genuine love. And when I saw that, time after time, I think I did it like three or four, repeated that same procedure three or four more times. But the final time I did it, this time he brought uh, two t- um, he brought two towels, and there was a chair that was seated outside of the cells. And so he would come to the cell, and this time I dashed him, and he wiped himself with the first towel, and then he grabbed the chair, and he grabbed the other towel, and he wrapped it around his neck, and he was like, "Alfonso, what is wrong?" And I went through the thing where I began to curse him and say all foul things to get him against him, just to get him away from our cell. But then again, he responded the same way. But this time, for some reason, I believed him. And he said to me, "Alfonso, why are you so angry?" I'll say, "Because I'm in prison for something I didn't do." And he told me, "I believe you." And from that moment on, that's when I really began to gravitate towards that light that I saw inside of him. So now I really had an example of what a godly person and what a man really looks like and how a given man is. And so he became my first example. And then once I told him I couldn't read or write, he went to like his grandkids or something, and he brought me some coloring books that had never been used and brought me some crayons. Now, mind you, at this time, you can not have either one of those material while you in solitary confinement. But he convinced the warden or someone to allow me to have those things. And so I was down there. I was not embarrassed. I mean, I learned to spell the word cat backwards, and I was proud of it. But that wasn't enough for me. I wanted more. And so I started just advancing fast through those books to the point where the first book I read from cover to cover was the King James Bible, and I just started wanting more. So finally, when I got out the hole, I took everything that the pastor had offered me during that time, and it really transformed my life and had me to start viewing things a lot differently. And he's
God.
95 years old and still in my life.
Um,
Yeah.
and tell us his name.
Reverend Emo, Paul Emo, an awesome
Paul.
guy.
Uh,
I don't know
thank
what, and I,
you. Yeah, thank
yeah,
you, Paul.
yes,
Emma.
yes,
Wow. God bless you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God. And it was, and Sherry, I can't, it's hard to put it into words. Prison was supposed to be a place where I pretty much was just supposed to fall in line with everyone else, and the expectation that most people in the community have on those who go to prison is that they're going to return back to prison over and over again. And I began to witness these things, and I was like, I don't want that for myself. First of all, I'm in here falsely, but how can I take a bad situation and be an example to other people? So I stopped, and Chaplain Emmo used to come to me. He was like, "It's much bigger than you," and I was like, "No, it can't be much bigger than me. I got 105 years, man. I don't know if I'm going home or see my family." So he's like, "No, no, no. It's much bigger than your suffering." So I started to meditate. I started to write. In fact, as I began to read when I was in solitary confinement, I began to journal. And while I was journaling, I remember just going in some deep, deep places in my life that I had never experienced before. I felt as though a huge burden was removed from me because most of my young life, I've been told that I would never amount to anything, even though I had a dream. I was told that I would end up in prison like the rest of the people in my community, but still I held on to that dream. And I would never allow another person's perception become my reality because I allowed it to at a much younger age, but I was determined never allow myself to enter back into their space again. But I wanted to create a space of love. So I think people used to look at me so weird because while I was locked up, I was considered, people considered me a hugger and a crier, you know. And I think that when you're transparent like that with people and you just bare your soul and show them that, yeah, I share your pain, but also understand what it is to walk in your shoes, as difficult it may sound, you know,
Yeah.
but that's the reality of it.
Yeah, yes. And your story, though it's during resonance with me and millions of others. So I was never in prison per se, but I was my choices put me there in confinement. Yes. And there is always that moment that
Hmm.
switch slips on. It can be a benign moment to others, but to us, it is life changing. We're like, okay, enough. I'm done. I am being called to go on, do more, be more.
Hmm.
Okay, you then are out of solitary confinement, and the warden comes to you. And what does she say?
I think there was, I think they was kind of taken aback by the transformation in that period of time. I didn't think that they really expected someone to. Well, actually, I started proclaiming my innocence early on, and then to be there, and then to all of a sudden to finally have somebody to listen to you. It's like, okay, you've been saying this a long time. Um, so she finally came to me and told me that it was something different or something special about my life, and I still had no idea what she was talking about. I had no idea, but I'm thinking, I always thought that, you know, helping other people and just being a good person, that don't deserve to be a per- I didn't need a pat on the back to be doing something that I know I was supposed to do. And
Yeah,
I think that with that attitude, it sort of people, the staff in particular, began to see those things, and then they began to put me in a position of mentorship of others.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like I was. It was like being a person that I always wanted to be, but I was
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I was surrounded. I was surrounded by darkness, and this is the thing that I love and I hold on to. And every now and then I enter. I call it my prayer closet. I entered into my prayer closet. Like there's there was always something that was stirring on the inside of me, and I knew it. And there was, and one incident in particular when I was in solitary confinement. It was like I was having all these voices that's telling me that you'll never amount to anything. But then while I was in solitary confinement, I was in a hold, under a hold. I don't know if that makes sense. But
Yes,
in solitary
it
confinement, yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was removed from I was removed from the normal solitary confinement and placed in a small box. They call it the MO cell. I forgot what the acronyms mean, but in this small cell, there's a concrete slab which sits it right in the center of the floor, really low, and there's this metal toilet which have a sink that's connected to it, and then above this sink and this toilet, it's like this vent system. And I remember going in there, and they had to literally they had this the bed that I was in. It's called a 5 point, and the 5 point meaning that they strap your forehead, they strap your arms, they strap your thighs, and they strap your leg. And they had me lay in that position for like 12 hours. A staff had to come in and help me. I'm sorry for being so personal and graphic,
No,
but
no.
I was in that position for 12 hours. Yeah. And I remember when they finally let me up, or I was still in the MO cell, but they finally gave me a sheet. They gave me this sheet. I tore this sheet up, and I stood on the toilet, and I tried to destroy my life. I tried to do self harm. And then while I was in that position, I remember I remember releasing my feet from the toilet, and for what seemed like a long, long time, I remember like I was being lowered into a grave, and this grave was so familiar. It was so dark and so familiar to me that I found comfort in there. But then on one
Wow.
side, I heard the voice of my mother said, "Why did y'all kill my baby? He didn't do anything." And then on another side, I heard the DA and the judge said, "Well, he's a coward. He killed himself." And so the moment that I was being lowered deeper and deeper into that dark place, I remember looking up and there was a familiar hand. And it felt as though that hand had been with me all of my life. And so
Mm.
I reached up and I grabbed that hand, and then immediately that's when the string or whatever had broken. I fell on the toilet, and I looked up at the heaven. And I was like, God, I can't even kill myself. So you must have a reason for me to be going through these type of things. And at that moment, it was like I had a quiet and a peace that came over me that I knew that he was real. And so that's why I'm not looking back. That's why I'm so determined. If he can, if God can take an uneducated, a person who struggled with his identity, had no sense of direction whatsoever, allow me to go in the bowels of the beast where there's nothing but gashing of teeth and hatred all around me, and I'm able to find a glimmer of light in there, I knew he had a reason for him. So rather than complain, I was like, okay, God, thank you for this. Thank you for it. And the moment I stepped out, I promise you, that's why I took off running. I took off running to all these different organizations that need to hear the message of love and forgiveness. That's my mission.
I have been in the novels. I have, and also received God's message. No, you are meant to be and do more. Get going. I'm like, well, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm
Wait a minute.
going too.
And then the this the four. That's why, like when I got out of 2017, it was like I already knew, and every place I went to, like the first thing, because I have a culinary arts degree and I love cooking, I went and volunteered at a couple of food pantries, and I began to change their menus and bring healthier food in. Um, my phone and bring healthier food in, and then also, and I used to put like like real silverware on tables and put real flowers on tables. And that really meant a lot to people because I created like a home style type of food and I loved it so much. And I saw the effects that it was having on other people. I was like, well, let me bring more attention to it. So I stopped talking about, being falsely in prison and all that stuff. But I was like, well, we have a need in the community. Do you mind? And do you mind helping? And then it just so happens they asked me, where you been? And I was like, I was in prison for a long time. And then I explained to them why. And most people, when they meet me, they have no idea.
Yeah. No. Let's talk about how Alfonso today. I can relate to the past, being in the past, and now
Yeah.
fully inviting who we are, who we
Yes.
came here to be. Go
Yeah.
tell us what
Yes.
you're doing about your journal. Go.
Um, oh my God, Sherry, it's so much. This is a journal. I don't know if you can see this. I
Yes.
pulled my I took the journal that I began when I was in solitary confinement. And so I pulled 8 chapters out of that, of the stories that was really, really challenging for me. And then I give a
And
synopsis on my prayer life at that particular. Mhm.
I interrupt, bring back your book and talk about the title for those who hear this but don't see it.
Oh, the title actually, it was given to me by a friend. It was this one day, I met this guy and we were talking, and then he was like, the word unfragile keep coming up. And so I didn't know that was a word. And I looked up the word unfragile, which is true, which is actual word. It means unbreakable,
Yeah.
to endure, resilience, and then there was a couple more expressions and then it gave me the example. I forgot the name of the spider, but this spider that creates this web is the most strongest strand that's created by anyone in the world. And so I looked those things up, and I was like, oh my God, unfragile,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
think it embodies all of us.
Where can people get your book?
We have um, the link to connect with it. Well, actually, Alphonso James, and then that'll be able to pretty much direct everyone to where to go for those.
Okay.
Uh,
Keep on going because you have way more going on now, don't
Yeah.
you?
And then we have the Unfragile. The Unfragile Farm. Right now we're leasing property on our way to owning it, and it's like 132 acre on the bluff of Wisconsin. And where this idea came from is that, like, again, I go to a lot of conventions every year for the Innocent Network, and there's a lot of people that return back to the community after being exonerated, and their prospective states don't have any compensation program. So a lot of them have to start at square one after 20 and 30 years in prison. They have no resume or any of those type of things. And so I met with a couple exonerees, and we're networking right now so that we can create this space. So not only just for those who are exonerated, but for those who experience any type of, whether it's physical prison or emotional or psychological prison, we want to be able to give everyone this experience. And then on the grounds we have a 24-hour therapist, massage, whatever need that a human being wants. And then we believe in the ecosystem, to like create our own food, grow our own food, and just give people a different type of skill to live a healthy and better way.
Wow. Talk more about this. How people can contact you and get involved. So I am an abuse victim outside of Wisconsin. Can I come to you, or
Yeah.
do you? Okay, how do I connect, and what is the procedure to onboard, to be there? How long are people there?
Right now, the property holds. Oh my God! Thanks for asking this question, Sherry, because I get to share the whole vision with you. Part of the vision.
Yeah.
On only 132 acres, we're gonna build those mobile homes, or I forgot the name of them, but they're really really nice, and we get them at a cheap price. So there would be people that not only actually work there, but go through experience the program there, but we'll have shelter year round. If you just want to come there, say for instance, we have trauma therapy on every level. We have oh my God, um from the massage therapist, from we have a spiritual, we call it spiritual journey, which we have on the property. You just take a walk, and there's nothing but beautiful trees, and then the lake sits right there, nice body of water, and then the beautiful property. And then all of our streets, we are naming, like for instance, when you first enter into our program, the first street that you enter is Journey, the Journey. And then after you enter into the Journey, and then we enter into personhood. That's when we begin to dive on the inside of who we really are. And we have that space where we're able to be not only free, but transparent, and also know that we're going to be loved. So we have all those contributing things, and then we have outside community partners. That's if a person's, no matter what it is, we have it covered. And then the information to really get more information from is the website is unfragilefarm.com.
This sounds incredible. You do take on people from all over. You're looking for people who are have been wrongly accused or abused. Who is your um, community? Also, how many people can you house?
Well, it housed until we build the other buildings or get the other buildings up. It housed 15 people comfortably, um, and then the tools. Oh my God, the tools that we have in place. Right now, I really don't focus much on the cost of it because I do a lot of fundraising, and not everybody can afford to come to Wisconsin and spend a few days. So that's why I'm setting up an account where we do have those special cases. In fact, see, I grew up in an abusive home. I saw my mother abused by my stepfather. And I was a kid. It 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 broke my heart because I wasn't able to protect the one that protected me. And so I was like, well, how can I get to the root cause of those type of things? And I did, and I started going out and I started meeting people who have been victimized by people, and we started putting sharing our stories and creating a platform so all of us can have a voice. And so we have this beautiful organization in Wisconsin called Milwaukee called it Sojourner Truth. And so Sojourner Truth is a place that houses DV victims, but they're not called victims. They're called champions. And so these are the different organizations and different. I mean, from the youth, our youth or whatever we can do to at least make a difference in our community. That's the thing I'm willing to do because that legacy is so important of love.
Yeah. One last thing, and thank you for your time. You talked about touring and talking about your journals. Give us a little insight about that.
Mhm. In fact, I'm about to go on. It's called the Journey Within tour. And what that consists of, not only are we going to promote the book, but and bring awareness to mental health issues and also false imprisonment, but we're also bringing awareness. We're creating a circle. So wherever we go, we're going to also create a circle so we can have a conversation, so people can really feel what we feel and we just want to bring a different experience. It's not about just signing a book and just showing up, but I want a person when they open this book and they read it, I want them to like, okay, it could be worse, but it's not, and I'm thankful. So that's the reflection that I also want to do. And so right now, our first place to that we're going to is New York. We're going to New York in May. We're setting up all the dates and all those type of things. Now we're going to Chicago next month, where I'll be appearing at the National Innocence Network Conference, where I'll be a keynote speaker there. And then I was just highlighted on a show called The Uncharted Bounty, which we won 15 awards throughout the world, from Spain, from best documentary, best motivational story, and it's out now. It's an awesome opportunity. That also gets the message out, and then of course, my lovely Sherry, I'm on your show, so the word is getting out, my friend.
Yes. Yes. What final words do you have for victims of violence or wrongly incarcerated people?
This is every morning I wake up, I repeat this same thing over and over again. Um, he that is perfect is perfecting perfection in me. He that is perfect, which is God, is perfecting. That perfecting is the suffering, is the pain, the tears when nobody else sees those things, the loneliness that nobody else can feel but us. So he that is perfect is perfecting perfection in us. And so there's going to be times when things don't make sense. But my trust continue to be that I'm being perfected through the things that I go through. And our voice do matter. It matters.
Amen. Throughout my journey, I often ask, what the hell? Why? 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 Yeah, well, so when I stop asking why and just believe, but also looking at every experience as an opportunity to grow, that my life change, yours too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the key.
Mm.
Is
Oh my God. Activate your faith. That's the key thing. Activate your faith. I mean, we got faith enough to get on airplanes and trust that the pilot is going to get us safely over there. So we have
yes.
that faith. Yeah. Yeah, speak it out. Whatever's in your heart and you believe it and it's aligned up with what the universe has for you, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it is. Also, surrender. But yeah, that I mean, when you
Mm,
stop thinking of how you visualize your life and are stuff when it doesn't happen, and I've
mm,
been there. Okay, when
mm,
you surrender and just go with it, that is when the magic happens. Far better, bigger than we ever can imagine. You and I
mm.
are proof of that when you just surrender. Alfonso, thank you for being here, but more so for being that beautiful, unconditional, loving light to so many. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. And I am honored to know you. If on my promo book tour come to Wisconsin, I hope we can connect and collaborate.
We're there. Watch.
Okay.
It's gonna happen. Yes. I would love to.
Okay. So
Thank you for listening. If today's conversation resonated with you and you're ready to explore your own healing journey or intuitive gifts, I'd love to work with you. I offer psychic medium readings, energy healing sessions, and intuitive development guidance at shariroberts.org. And if you're not quite ready for a session, but want to be a part of the conversation in a supportive community, join my private Facebook group. The link is in the show notes. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. This is Shari Lee Roberts. Until next time, remember, you're never alone.